to another video. I'm back to volume 1 for a very exciting video. Not too long ago, volume 1 asked us if we would like to come and set a route here, and as we know nothing about route setting, we said yes please. So here we are. I am going to set a route on this piece of wall behind me, and then Nathan is going to set a route, and then they're both going to go to a public vote at our local climbing gym, which is very exciting, a little bit daunting. So I selected my holds, and now I'm going to try and set something that is nice to climb on this piece of wall behind me.
So Nathan and I both chose to set on this piece of wall, which is a kind of overhanging corner. For my holds, I went for these lilac blue pill holds, which have a really good selection of pockets, small dishes and versatile rounded hand holds. After a quick 101 in route setting technique and safety, I was away.
So I have a couple of things in mind for like moves that I would like to set, but I'm keeping them a bit close to my chest because I'm not sure that they're going to work out how I'm expecting them to. So I think I'm going to go with the put one hold on the wall and then see where we get from there approach. And I think I'm going to test it throughout. So like test the individual moves that I've set as I go, just to make sure that they are okay. I don't really have like a grade in mind. We've not been told to set a specific grade. I wouldn't really know where to start. But after we finish setting the climb, we're going to give our approximation of what that grade is, and then people will be able to vote on the app that Volume 1 uses, Tumblr, to let us know what grade they think the climb is, and we'll see if they match up afterwards. So it should be an interesting challenge.
It took me a long time to figure out how I wanted to actually start my climb. I did have a reference move in mind from a climb that I had previously climbed in another gym, which started with a rock right.
Okay, so I'm roughly thinking that I'm going to start 2 hands here, and then I'm hoping to get some kind of like either high sit into a heel or a toe where you have to kind of like push across using this out right before going up, but I haven't made it very far yet.
I needed a right foot that was good enough to rock over on, and I tried to set that just high enough so that it required a little sitting into rather than just standing on.
Roughly what I'm thinking is I want to end up in a kind of like quite wide position like this with my foot on the wall, so that I'm pulling myself right, and then I have to like catch as I take I don't know if it'll be a swing because the foot's quite good, but something that forces you to come this way, I think, roughly. So
That's getting the Birkenstocks.
no, I might go and get my shoes in a minute.
So hi, my name's Ben Reed. I am the head route setter and one of the owners here at Volume 1. Decided to invite Hannah and Nathan down to have a little go at route setting because thought it'd be a good insight for them to see and experience the processes that happen here when we route set.
Basically just to make your route setting look better, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It really helps, improve the out quality by seeing, having some really rubbish routes potentially here. So far, so good. Obviously, we've only got 4 holds and a volume on it at the moment, so we can kind of see a little bit of the thought process that she's going through at the moment, and I think it's changed a couple of times whilst she's been going, which is completely normal, and there's no real correct way to set a boulder problem. I change up how I set it quite often. Sometimes I'll just start literally from the start and the whole route will be formed. If I've got a particular move in mind, I might set that move first and then work out how it comes into it, how it exits. The holds are going to dictate a lot of it as well. Again, Nathan and Hannah are quite lucky that they've kind of got free reign of the holds because we've had the whole wall stripped, so they can kind of pick and choose the holds that they want. when we're setting commercially towards the end of the set, sometimes you have a particular hold route in mind, but you haven't got the holds to make it work, and that's where the real challenges come out from the commercial set, is making sure that you still set the correct grade and that it's enjoyable and it flows and it has all the aspects you're looking for in a good route, with sometimes holds that you wouldn't necessarily choose at the start of the set.
I'm maybe 4 or 5 holds in, and it's proving to be, I knew it would be quite difficult, but it's proving to be more difficult than I thought. It's I think just like I feel overwhelmed by options and obviously I want to make a good route and beat Nathan. But yeah, I'm kind of like I'm pretty happy with what I've got so far. I think there's quite a nice move in the middle. I just need to kind of figure out how to finish it off nicely. I think I said before we came that I wanted to get like a nice toe hook move in. So I think now's my time. I'm gonna try and get that in now. And some kind of undercut. But yeah, I'm thinking like a toe over here. But we'll see. I need to find something that would make a good toe hold. It'll be this. Something to like tuck your toe in. So I'm going in with my last hold. It's taken me a little while to pull this together, but I think I'm pretty happy with the result. I've not climbed it yet properly, so it might all unravel in a few seconds, but yeah, going for the top hold. Gone for like quite a big, nice, juggy finish, but I don't know, it's not like the best jug, but it's quite, so it was quite nice, fairly nice. Okay.
I think it looks better than it actually is.
Yes.
Which might be a good thing.
Okay. It was really nice until that last hold.
I really enjoyed up to that point.
Is there a technique to like taking things up the wall?
Put it on the drill ready. You know, like a bricklayer will go up with like a pole and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
like
And then
that.
like, yeah.
So that's not going to come off?
Yeah, and then it's a balancing act.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You look so pro.
I've got my climbing shoes on as well.
Yeah.
You're not happy, Ben?
I'm happy, but I know it's not how Hannah intended it to go. So this is always then the dilemma when you're testing. It's like, do you leave it and it's just, no, there's a couple of ways to do it, or do you try and tweak it to force the move that the setter wants? It's a good problem as it is, so it's up to Hannah, really.
What would she do to tweak it?
Duo, kind of like up towards your black finishing hole, not anywhere near as close, but like up in that direction, to make it more of a like stretch out to that, and then you have to get the heel
The other option you've got is you could always move these like down and make more of a move to that, but you can't ruin nothing. That's quite a nice move going across there.
Then be a bit lower feet for the top movement there, so
You'd be forced to go up to that. If you had like a side pull or undercut there, I guess then yeah, you wouldn't be having that move.
It was good with the jug.
Yeah, can make it quite a bit harder, but it's worth trying.
So after testing, we changed the orientation of this hold here to a Gaston to make it a little bit trickier and move the top hold upwards and left to make the top move more committing and to deter people from breaking the beater by going straight to it and not using that heel. Then it was over to Nathan, who opted for the corner of the wall using a black selection of holds from core climbing. The flavour of Nathan's climb was definitely more slopey, with some compression moves on these semicircle core holds. This hold could be laid back from using the ridge on the right hand side here, using a slightly slippy round hold for feet.
Hannah and Nathan have a bit of a luxury today in that I haven't given them a grade. They can set whatever grade they want, so complete free reign. Also, there's no time pressure. On a commercial set, we'd be trying to set up to like 30 problems in a day, split over 3 or 4 setters. So the kind of the pressure would be on to make sure we're setting quickly, but also make sure the quality's high. Whereas today, Hannah and Nathan can just focus on the quality, hopefully, and see what results come out of it. The challenges they might face whilst they go is obviously the same that all setters face, with making sure that the route is accessible to as many people, and the key one with that is height and reach. Be interested to see what comes out, obviously with Hannah and Nathan being very different heights. It's going to be interesting how they get on each other's problems and how they get on their own problems and what styles come out.
So my black problem. Hannah's just described it as being accidentally good, which I think is a good thing. But I kind of started off with these black core holds, which I quite like. And I think these kind of like semicircle slopey things, you can do quite a lot of things with them. You can kind of make them quite nice, or if you twist them a little bit, they get a lot worse. And I'm working in this corner of the wall where there's like quite a few angle changes. So it's actually quite hard to think through what's going to work. But at the same time, it gives quite a lot of options for having like feet that are kind of pressing in opposition to where your hands are, or like creating body tension. So the first couple of moves I've got just moving to the right on this kind of sloper with a kind of little foot jump out onto this volume here. And so you're kind of laying back up these first 2 semicircles and walking your feet up the wall that's kind of at a bit of a right angle to it. So the movement feels kind of interesting. It takes a lot of work to get something that feels fun but doable, but also has a bit of difficulty to it. And at the moment, Hannah's done the bottom moves and I've done the top half moves. So I think that's good that it's all doable, but it's making me a bit aware that the top moves might be quite reachy, which is hard for me to judge because of my height. But I'm now in the top section anyway. I've probably just got 2 more holds maybe to do. I've started to come across and clash with where Hannah has put a volume on her lilac, so I need to think of a way around that volume on Hannah's climb. Because because I think the difficulty of my climb maybe means that that triangular volume will be quite a juggy hold for the route. So I'll have to try and maybe go around it or maybe divert back towards the right for the finish. I'm going to stick a couple on near the top because I haven't got any ideas in mind, so I'm hoping if I stick a hold on, I can then just see how it feels moving to it and can maybe adjust it from there rather than finishing the idea off first. We'll see. I've got a change of hold type now for the next few holds because I've used up the 3 kind of identical holds, so it's going to change up a bit now, maybe to something that's a bit more of a crimp.
With some preliminary testing, Nathan figured out a nice way to transition from right to left, even finding a nice knee bar between the volume that I'd set on my climb and his hold.
Hands here? Yeah. No, I think it climbs well. I mean, you were doing lots of you were doing a lot more kind of tweaking and testing as you were climbing. So yeah, I think as you were setting, I think it works. I think it's in the kind of grade band you were potentially looking for. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to leave it as it is. But you're the setter.
The only thing that was different is I like Hannah and I both pop the foot over at the bottom on the volume. I don't know if...
Over to here?
Yeah, because you made it look pretty easy to swap his feet, but we found it's quite hard to swap feet. So we almost, imagine that like circle just there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, could you take the circle off?
Maybe. I think Hannah uses it to like get in the momentum.
It really is quite a move.
So Nathan's route needed a little less adjustment than mine, with the foothold being removed to force the hop and make sure the footstep wasn't an option anymore in that first move.
Okay, so it's the next day. Bless you. So it's the next day. Nathan and I have come back to Volume 1 to give our climbs a proper go, because yesterday we set them and tested them, but today we've come back to climb them and give them an approximate grade, the grade that we think the climb is, and then as the climbs have gone to the public vote, we'll be able to see how near or far we were in our estimations of the grade. I have given my climb 6A on the dot. So that's a triangle at Volume 1, and now it's up to the rest of the climbers at Volume 1 to decide whether or not they think that is a good score, whether or not they think it's harder, easier. I'm pretty confident with my guess, and let's see what everyone else thinks.
I think I'd give my climb a 6B, probably on the nose. I've watched a few other people do it now who aren't as tall as me, which is reassuring because I thought I might have inadvertently set something that was like really favoured being tall. But I think it should work for everyone. It's quite burly though, it's kind of the type of thing I set out to try and create. So I think it definitely has a certain style to it where some people will find it a lot harder or easier than others. So 6B is quite non-committal really, it's like very mid-grade. I think a lot of stuff gets graded 6B if you're not sure whether to say it's like a little bit easier than that or a little bit harder than that. But the climbs have been they've been open for a couple of sessions now, so we've actually already seen a few votes coming in on the Tumblr app, which is quite interesting. And Hannah and I had said kind of 6A and 6B before anyone else had tried the problems, but now that there's a few votes coming for the grades, I think they're looking around the same as we're thinking, really. I think mine's had a couple of votes for 6B plus and Hannah's has had a couple for 6A and 6A plus. But it's been super fun getting to set. I think it was like a case of being spoiled for choice, because there's so much that you can do when you walk in. You've got all these holds in front of you and you've got any piece of wall that you want. And there's like 101 moves that spring to mind that you're thinking about setting, like, you know, Gaston's heel hooks, coordination-y things or knacky things. So it's quite hard to narrow it down to one kind of refined idea that will work in a problem without just trying to throw in everything that you want to put in to one problem that you get to set. That was probably the biggest challenge, I think, for Hannah and I, and probably why we took so long to set our problems. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting, I think, when people start trying the problems, and we've already turned into like kind of creepy people that sit back in the gym now and watch people trying our problems just to see the different beaters that people are trying on them. But it's been really good fun, actually. It's been a really cool thing to get to do. So yeah, thanks to Volume 1 and thanks to Ben for letting us do it.
So I really hope that you enjoyed this setting video and found it insightful into the setting process. Nathan and I had a really fun time setting our routes, and it's been really cool watching people climb them at the gym. Let me know below what you thought of the routes, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!